Good morning, students. So today we are going to learn a new chapter named Landscape of the Soul. This chapter is written by Natalie Troberer. Natalie Troberer. The writer, if we talk about the writer, Natalie Troberer, she is an art historian. Especially, she came in limelight because of her one of the translated works. The name of the work is given, that is City of Genes. Because of this work, the writer Troberer, that she came in limelight, and she holds a degree in history of art and archaeology. So this is what a short description later on, that she traveled to abroad, various countries with her husband. In short, the description is given. Now, if we look at the title, Landscape of the Soul. Soul, you know the meaning well. So landscape means a view or a painting of a countryside or the rural area. Countryside. Such a painting view is given. This is what the meaning, landscape of the soul. Such a painting of the spirit or soul. Right? This is the meaning of this title. In this chapter, the writer has specially given the difference between the two arts. One is, for example, it compares the two arts, the Chinese and the European view of art. Chinese, for example, Asian view of art, and the Western or European view of art. It means the difference. The writer wants to convey us what is the difference between European art and the Chinese view of art. How they look at the art towards the landscape. That difference. So before going to start the story of this lesson, let us have a glance over the difference. First of all, we will make it clear that what is the difference, what is meant by Chinese view of art and the European or Western view of art. For example, first, Chinese view of art. Chinese, it means Asian view of art. Generally, it is considered that in Asia, art is the essence of soul and spirit. I repeat, in Asia, it means China, this is the part of Asia, it is considered that art is the essence of spirit and soul. So now, when we look at Chinese view of art, it is almost having a spiritual approach, plus it reveals the spirit of art. It talks about the soul or spirit of art, which are Chinese view of art. Spirituality, soul, spirit, and only the writer, only the painter, poet or musician, these are the artists. Just like here one painter is given, example of the painter, but other artists also we could give. For example, a musician, a poet, a writer, a painter. Another, it means an ordinary person. He could not do like a painter, like a musician or a poet. Not possible. He cannot. It means being an ordinary person, we cannot compose a poem looking at an ordinary things, just the way the poet used to do or he does. You might have especially known the poet William Wordsworth. The way he composed the poem looking at the daffodils, the flowers, the trees, the waterfall, the fountain, the sky. This is possible only for the poets or the artist. For ordinary man, it is not possible. This is not a cup of tea. So that's why all the artists, including painter, poet, musician, writer, all these people, that they are unique. They have that ability, competency, that power, that skill, which the ordinary man, that he doesn't have. So the Chinese view of art, it is based on spiritual approach, reveal the spirit of art inside of painting, that he could do, especially he could involve beyond the words can convey. Words are not enough to convey the meaning in Chinese art. Then it is based on imaginative and inner approach with Chinese art, based on imagination, spirit, soul, and inner approach. So that's why it is called as in Asia, art is the essence of spirit and soul. So this is what about Chinese view of art. It means, in short, Chinese view of art based on imagination, spirituality, inner view, and soul. Am I clear? So let us move on to the next art, that is European view of art. Against of this Chinese, European, it means Western. Now this Western art, it is entirely based on illusionistic view. Illusion, it means it creates only a picture. And illusion, this is also one of the features of this art. Plus likeness, similarity, then perfect imitation, copy of nature. Here in Chinese view of art, there is no copy of anybody else. There is no copy. That they have their own views, spirits, or the spirituality, all these things. But here European, just like that, they used to imitate the art, looking at each other. So illusionistic, it creates some that imagination, illusion, perfect imitation of nature. They used to imitate the same thing, looking at another object that they used to imitate, the same objects that they used to draw on that panel board, on that painting board, right? So, and exactly like a real one, and it seems that the European view of art, a real one, because of the imitation. So this is what the view is given. One is based on spirituality, another based on imagination or likeness or the reality. This is the difference is given in short, because in our exercise that we have to differentiate between Chinese art and European view of art. So when the story starts, actual lesson starts, that time the first point is about anecdote about Chinese painter Wu Daozi. Wu Daozi, one its example is given here about this anecdote of a Chinese painter Wu Daozi. So what happened? The story is told in this way, right? A wonderful old story, it means a tale is told about a Chinese painter named Wu Daozi. And this Wu Daozi, that he belongs to the 8th century. And this man, and he was a painter, fantastic, outstanding painter. And once an emperor, name of the, for example, Chang Emperor, and Xuanzong. Xuanzong is the name, Xuanzong. Xuanzong is the name, that he commissioned a task to whom? To this painter, Chinese painter Wu Daozi, who belongs to the 8th century. And what was the task? To decorate the palace wall. He was an emperor, so that's why the task was given by the emperor to Wu Daozi, the painter of the 8th century in China, and the task was to decorate the palace wall. And after the decoration of the wall, the master, it means this painter, had hidden the palace wall. He had not allowed anybody else or the other people to view the art, to have a sight of that art. Only that he kept for the emperor. Only that he wanted that the emperor should see first. He should glance over the art first of all. So that's why he kept it hidden. So when he invited the emperor, Hu Zhaozi, the painter, after the completion of the work, he invited the emperor to come and to see the art. Emperor came. When he saw, especially just like the gallery, etc., on the palace wall, when he saw the painting, that was really splendid one. And the emperor Xuanzong, that he admired the painting. Admired means appreciated the painting of the painter. And on the wall, in his painting, he had painted various pictures. We remember one thing, we are talking about a story which belongs to China, a Chinese story, Chinese view of art. So try to understand. So now on the palace wall, he had decorated some pictures. For example, discoveries of the forest, the picture of the forest, discoveries of the forest, high mountains, waterfalls, clouds floating in the sky, infinite sky, men on hilly paths, and birds in flight. So that was the view or the sights painted by the Chinese painter Hu Zhaozi on the wall. And now the emperor, that he was so happy, admired the painting. That time, this man, painter, said to the emperor, the Chinese emperor, what did he say? That at the bottom, at the means a footprint, at the bottom of this mountain, a cave, and he said that, and he took that painter to the cave. One cave was there, C-A-V-E, and the painter took the Chinese emperor to the cave near of that cave, and he told him, who the Chinese painter said to the emperor, that let me, it means my lord, what did he say? My lord, let me show you the way. One statement is used. What did he say? That he said, the painter said, my lord, look sir, that let me show you the way. It means let me, the cave was there, in front of them, both of them. And the painter said to the emperor, look sir, here, your majesty, let me show you the way. And in this way, the painter, what he did, he clapped his hands. As soon as he clapped his hands, what happened? The entrance door of that cave opened. And when the emperor, that Xuanzong, that he looked inside, it means that he was outside the cave, but still he had a glance over the painting. That was a splendid, outstanding painting. But the painter said, let me go first, sir. I will show you the way. So that's why first who entered, painter entered inside the cave. Still the emperor was outside standing. As soon as he entered inside the cave, what happened? The entrance or it means the door of that cave closed behind him suddenly. So now, after that, the writer says, suddenly what happened? That painter, that he had disappeared, and the painting also disappeared. It means words were not enough Words were incomplete to convey the means splendidness or the almost the greatness of this painting. Before an emperor, that emperor could convey his expression, surprising feelings, expressions in words, or utter a word, or say something. What happened? That man painter, that he disappeared, and his painting also disappeared. Nobody knows what happened. Nothing was there. No brush for the painting which were lying there. No ladders, nothing, no equipments, instruments. Everything had been disappeared. It means here the writer wants to say the emperor, what he can do, that he can definitely win the battles here. Emperor, that he can get the territories, he can occupy the territories, win the battles, but it is not possible for the emperor to see the actual view of the art. It is only possible for the painter. The emperor can, with his might, with his power, he can do anything. He can occupy the various territories, but it is not possible for the emperor. The way here painter, Wu Zhaozi, that he could see the painting, spirituality, that inner soul, and what is required in the Chinese painting, active participation of that man, physical plus mental participation, both in Chinese painting. But here, for example, that emperor, he was only participated physically, not mentally, but the painter, that he was the active participants both physically and mentally. So that's why that view, that sight is possible, inner sight is possible only for the poet, not for the emperor. Though he is powerful, mighty, having the power to do anything, but in art, it is nothing is possible. It means not possible anything for the emperor. It is possible to have that spirituality, that inner beauty, that sight. It is possible for the poet only, or the painter only. So that's why the emperor, that he stood, it means in a stupefied way there, just like in a surprising way. He could not see the inner soul, inner beauty of inside the cave. Only that painter could see, and nobody knows that where did he disappear. Right? So in this way, the first Chinese story is given. The rest of the things that we will continue in the next video module. Thank you.